All right, back on Trail A. So I made one minor change to the way the GoPro settings are right now. I enabled Hypersmooth Boost. So I still have a habit of looking both ways crossing that road. Hypersmooth Boost, so it should be a little bit more stabilized video, but it's also going to be cropped and sort of zoomed in more. Not quite sure if I'm going to like that better or not, but I thought I really ought to give it a shot. Test it out again, make sure that I'm using the best possible settings on this GoPro Hero 8. And I know the GoPro Hero 9's out, but it doesn't work quite as well on my drone to have the GoPro Hero 9. It's bigger and heavier. Still not quite sure if I'm going to trade this one in for a 9 or not, but we'll see. Probably have to get the latest and greatest eventually. Curious to know how many of you also record any of your mountain biking adventures, what you use for it, how you do it, what you found to work out the best. Do you like watching this kind of a chest view where you get to see the handlebars in the view, or did you rather have it be a helmet cam so you can see what I'm looking at? There's the fun little creek crossing again. Splashing through that. Don't want to splash through there too much and get mud and water all over everything. Tree. Gotta watch out for those trees. They will not get out of your way, just like these two here that slow you down for this little trail crossing. Back on this beautiful fast section of trail again. Love this part. Kind of surprised I haven't run into anybody else on this section of trail. Saw one car parked up there. They must be just on the walking trails. On a gorgeous late afternoon like this, you'd think more people would be out here. I can see some people have been down on that sandbar there and made a bonfire, probably out fishing at some point. Nobody there now, but you can see the fire pit and the footprints. So a lot of times when I'm out for a ride like this, I'll hit up Trail B a second time, do another lap around there, add another mile to my ride. But I need to get back home today, so I'm going to skip that one for now. Squeeze between those two trees. All right, sandy corner again. Gotta slow down and be careful. Whoa. Don't fall down there into the river. Having the trails right along the river like this is beautiful, but from time to time you have to change where the trail goes because river will eat the bank away. Like, trail used to go straight ahead here on that side, but it's gotten a little too tight there with the river eating away at the banks. So I moved the trail inward just a little bit. And we're back at the big log that you have to kind of do a little hop over. Whee! And if you get enough speed here, you can get a tiny bit of air. Should build a little bit of a lip and jump off to the side of that. So people who want to jump can get a little more air over there. And through this super sandy section here. Not so bad if you're sort of have some practice riding in sand. If not, I guess that will give you the practice you need. Another little bit of sand here. And now we are on the eastern half of Trail D. Once we get through this sand here, and the beavers take care of that big tree a year or two ago. Yeah, and it's almost impossible to see the trail here. The trail goes wherever you want it to go. Trees are starting to turn a nice golden color. Still got a little bit of green tint to them, but they're getting yellow. And all those trees are full on yellow with the sun coming through them. It's just gorgeous. This section of the trail is some of the hardest hit by the flooding. Still got a ways to go before it's back to the way it was, back to the shape it was in a couple years ago. All these little sand dunes going up and down, rough ground. But it's getting there, slowly but surely. Low branch. Someday I have to bring a saw and take care of that one. I always forget about it. And I don't have a saw with me, usually. And apparently last weekend, Charles did so much sawing on one of the trees that his handy little saw is kind of worn out. Here's a tricky little advanced section. This, every year that gets deeper, more rutted from the rain and flooding. Got to have enough speed to almost coast up the other side. This section, oh, got some new branches here. Let's get those off the trail for the next person. I was just going to say this section here has been a pain in the summer because as you can see the weeds are like 6 feet tall Got to mow them and push them over so they don't fall back on the trail. Building trails to this sort of stuff is just really hard to maintain, keeping those weeds at bay. And here's another tree. We should move the trail to go around the tree because that's a little too low. Almost coming up on the end of Trail D now. This fun little section here. Watching all those weeds slowly die from the cold weather. Which reminds me, it's about time for me to check the GoPro battery. I should probably replace it because it's not going to last much longer. All right, nice. This battery is charged. So I did swap batteries. That alone was getting crazy low. And you can probably just hear all the birds. There's a whole bunch of birds hanging out in the trees up there. But I'm at the end of Trail D, where we've got some work to do to get this bridge finished up. Hopefully we can get that work back, sort of put back together so that in the spring, assuming there's another minor flood or at least a bunch of water, as this fills up, we'll have a bridge to cross here. Otherwise, it kind of cuts the trails in half. But, all right, sun's disappearing fast, so better get moving again. Just for fun, let's go across the bridge. Why not? There's a lot of beautiful yellow leaves in this spot. And again, all of these trees are just turning yellow. Guessing this weekend, so in a few days from now, this is just going to be perfectly bright yellow. Whoa! More sand there than I was expecting. Had to put a foot down quick. All right, now we are headed back on Trail E, the other side of Trail E. Ah, it's so beautiful right now. I just love it. And a fun little jump. Whee! I'm guessing the hyper smooth, especially with the boost turned on, is gonna make that look like nothing. Like it wasn't even a jump at all. One of the downsides of using hyper smooth is that it hides some of those fun things like that. I just got hit in the head by a small stick that my tire kicked up. That corner's a little too sharp. Someday I want to make that a really good banked corner, but it's not there yet. That tree broke off this summer, forcing us to move the trail just slightly around it. Same thing here, those trees fell, had to move the trail around it. All right, got another choice here. Take the easy route or the fun route. Lots of roots. Just have to kind of hover your bike over the roots of that tree there. Definitely not the easy route, but I like it. Jump. Again, hyper smooth is just on this GoPro, is just gonna hide that completely, I'm sure. Come on, GoPro, you gotta detect when someone's taking a jump and enhance it. Make it look like you're even jumping higher and farther instead of not jumping at all. And over the bridge, over the green goo. And now we are on Trail F, the final trail. Oh, another stick. Do a little trail work while we're here. This part of Trail F isn't very good shape right now. It used to be a loop connecting all the way around with Trail F, but that last flood brought in so much sand, and there's a section of water there in between that we can't really make it a loop anymore, at least not yet. So this is sort of a little, I guess you'd call it a lollipop section. Come out and back around, right back to where you were, using as much of the trail here as I could before it got to where it was too sandy to ride. And another tree that's falling over, so gotta decide how to adjust the trail there, because that's not gonna work. I need to cut that vine too. And just like that, we've turned all the way around, headed back on Trail F the other direction. Hopefully, next year we can make this back into a proper loop again. It's kind of confusing the way it is. And there was a shortcut I could have taken right back there, but kind of like this section of Trail F is really nice. So I like to go sort of fast. Add this to my whole ride. Makes it just that much, little bit longer. And if I combine doing this section an extra time plus Trail B, that extra mile, I can get in a 10.5 mile loop down here, which makes for a really good ride after work. So instead of up here taking a left, heading back out on Trail E, I just stay on Trail F, head back to the beginning. These are some fun little banked corners. And another giant tree. That one I think is a cottonwood tree. And we're headed south on Trail F again. This time we take this side of it. Lots of zigzags, fast zigzags on this section of trail. Kind of fun to push your limits there. Then we get to this new section of Trail F, built this spring, trying to make up for that other section we lost back there. Being a new section, it's still a little rough compared to some of the older sections of the trail. Need to be ridden in more. And clearly needs to do some raking on this too. And then this is about as far south as this trail can go again before it runs into nothing but sand. So it turns back this way, joins up with the beginning of Trail F. And we're going to take this arrow to the left and head out of the trails. Of course, semi making noise right now. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today, everybody. Had a great ride all the way through all the trails down here at Traverse Des Sioux Park in St. Peter. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me for the ride. And it's just a beautiful evening, beautiful looking sunset. And hopefully be able to make some more videos like this for the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.